BFree CBD.com joins forces with Championship Wrestling to bring you the all-new Championship Wrestling podcast. And here's your host, Dustin Starr, featuring special guest,
BFree CBD,
founder of BFree CBD, Daryl Bird. Here we go!
Body aches gone, leg pain gone, back pain gone, relaxation on.
Hello again, everyone, and welcome to episode 16 of the all-new Championship Wrestling podcast, presented by BFree CBD. Thank you for joining me wherever you are. I am Dustin Starr, and today we have a very special guest. The boss man himself, David Marquez, will be joining me in just a few moments. NWA and Championship Wrestling fans are certainly going to enjoy that. You'll also enjoy BFree CBD if you have aches and pains, or if you're struggling with anxiety, check out BFreeCBD.com for oils, bath bombs, and even flour. And just last week, I shared my stress reliever bundle in an unboxing video. The quality is absolutely amazing. See for yourself. You can even go to YouTube at CW30 Wrestling and watch that video. Be sure to follow at the letter B, Free CBD on social media. And go ahead and follow at CW30 Wrestling. And of course, I'm at Dustin Starr. Today, like I said, David Marquez is my guest. He's on the cast of NWA Power. Longtime NWA guy. He's also the owner of Championship Wrestling from Hollywood and all the affiliates, including Championship Wrestling from Arizona. He is my partner in business, myself and my Maria. It's been a pleasure working with him. It's going to be good to talk to him. We'll get a bunch of insight on what's coming up and maybe even get a little teaser on what's in the plans. Also today, of course, I'm going to recap Saturday's Championship Wrestling presented by Pro Shingle. We're going to look ahead at what's coming up this week, including an appearance I have scheduled on the Wrestling Observer Live with Brian Alvarez. Looking forward to that. And of course, I'm going to answer all your questions in the mailbag. But David Marquez is up first.
Freedom starts with the choice to be free. Find your free, pain-free, anxiety-free, stress-free, BFree CBD.
I'm here with the boss man, Dave Marquez. How you been doing, man?
Things are all right, Dustin. Thanks for having me on.
Yeah, no, thanks for joining me here on the Championship Wrestling podcast. Be sure to follow David Marquez at CWFH Marquez. You're kind of like the Godfather, but for pro wrestling. You ever get that?
I do. A couple of years ago, I don't remember who dubbed me this, but someone said that I was the Pope of pro wrestling.
Okay.
Which,
But
I was like, okay.
yeah, for those of you who are listening and don't know, David Marquez owns the United Wrestling Network that consists of several syndications of Championship Wrestling from Hollywood, including Championship Wrestling from Arizona. You guys are on over 100 stations across the United States. How many different shows do you have now that are syndicated through Hollywood?
Boy. Well, market specific, like the Memphis show that you guys co-produced with us, we have 4 of them.
Okay. And I know there's a lot of them that were in the works until we hit this time in our lives, but I'm sure that'll pick up.
Yeah, there were about 6 more in the making as this happened.
Yeah. All right. Well, we've had over a full year of great television here in Memphis. We were so excited to get started. It was kind of a crazy story of how it all did get started, but there was a lot more of that great television over the weekend. We've had to pivot just a little bit.
That's right.
You guys in Hollywood and on different programs aired the special that you had from China.
That's right.
Where you guys were able to fly over and shoot television in China. Tell us about that, man. I know that was a big moment for you.
It was a huge moment. It took me 3 years to put that together. And and dealing with the government and dealing with officials and TV people and the U.S. government. We even had a guy who couldn't make it, and we had to book another guy. Honestly, 17 hours before the show.
Oh my goodness.
and get him over there, Alex Chamberlain. So it was an incredible, quite possibly my greatest achievement as a promoter. And I've been promoting actively for at least 26 years. I've been in wrestling for 30, and no, it was a huge milestone for me, and being able to take the NWA World Title over there was something special to me. Harley Race used to always tell me that the title has been everywhere but Russia, and as he would say it, Red China. So when we had the opportunity to do this, and our relationship with the NWA, I ran with it, and I was like, I'm taking the NWA World Title to China for Harley Race, and we did it.
Yeah, absolutely. And that aired on Championship Wrestling from Hollywood and all the programming over the weekend on Saturday. You can check that out on the United Wrestling Network's YouTube channel. Mm-hmm. And then, of course, on Championship Wrestling presented by Pro Shingle, we featured tag team matches that have aired on Championship Wrestling. Gosh, man, the United World Tag Team titles, is there a better tag team division? And I'm just looking at the last 12 or 13 months. But everybody from Reno Scum to Rock Nest Monsters, now you got the Wolf Zaddies that are undefeated, the Soul Burners. Has there ever been a more loaded tag team division anywhere?
I'm not sure, man.
Maybe the 80s, right?
Maybe. I mean, even the Friendship Farm, and
yes,
there's a ton of people. And now, not to tell tales or anything, but my history and me being the promoter that I am, I'm trying to bolster that too. So
absolutely.
Who knows if you see Gallows and Anderson around soon?
Hey, now
we're doing everything we can to keep our programming, in the spotlight.
Absolutely. And what better time than now? But with the way that everything is going, it's so crazy that you want to do some of this stuff, but you literally can't right now.
That's right. We can't do anything.
We're talking to David Marquez. Be sure to follow him at CWFH Marquez. So we're talking about programming. What does programming look like moving forward? Because I know early on we all discussed the possibility of maybe doing empty arena shows, no audience, but that kind of went by the wayside when everything got very, very serious. Now WWE was deemed essential, mm-hmm. So maybe that conversation could be revisited. How do you feel about that?
Well, if it's safe, I'm all for it.
Right.
I'm in California, so we are being extremely cautious. Our governor is not taking any chances.
Right.
And at all. and rightfully so. So we are on standby until he tells us we can do something else. Now, from what's come out this week or last week, we were allowed to, it seems by the 15th of May, more and more will open up, which I think we will be a part of that announcement. If it goes into entertainment, our programming is not supported by ticket sales in our company. We're advertising supported programming. So when we shoot our shows, those people in the audience, they didn't pay to get in. So we don't rely on that to survive. So we can do it without people and still, it's still the same.
Absolutely.
So we if and when we're allowed to do it, we will. And even if the government in California is kind of keeping us down, we do have precedent with the WWE, and Impact just shot a series of shows 2 weeks ago in Nashville. So there is precedent that's been set already with our type of programming. But we would only do it if it's safe, and we'll have doctors there and sterilization and everything. And the other part to this is the theater which you visited where we shoot the show. That's mm-hmm. not in Los Angeles County. That's in Ventura County. So those rules may be different. And my guess is they're going to be a little more relaxed than Los Angeles County. So
would the Ocean View Pavilion be all for doing that? Is that something they would open up for us for?
Well, yeah, we have a long lease with them, so they're more than happy to have us there. especially if there's no people, and we will work with a minimal crew, and and follow the lead of what others are doing.
Right.
Much like you folks, you are producing, not in a studio. We're producing the other market specific shows, not in a studio. And a lot of you people listening to this, if you turn on your local news, there's a 80 to 90% chance that the newscasters are not in a studio. So we're all going to follow the best advice and safety precautions, and making sure everybody is in a safe environment. Because if it's not, we're not going to do it.
Right.
Our advertisers are loyal to what we're doing, and they believe in what we're doing. So no one has canceled necessarily. No one is saying anything to us about repeat programming. They understand the situation, and this goes across the country, not just specifically there with you guys in Memphis. So we're lucky. We're very fortunate to have loyal people working with us, and we're being just as loyal to them and staying on the air with. We're not backdating this stuff going back years. We're only going to go back to probably January.
Yeah, we've got to keep the storylines fresh in everybody's mind, the characters fresh in everybody's mind. We're still producing new television programming.
Yeah.
It's just we're having to look back at some of the best ofs or some of the things that happened several weeks ago. And
that's right.
Speaking of the future, what would you like to see moving forward when live events resume? I know that the United World Championship has been in the works for a while. Give us some teasers on what we can expect.
Well, the tag team division, like I just kind of hinted at, we are looking, maybe Zack Ryder and Hawkins will show up.
Hey, I love it.
You never know who's going to come through that entryway at Championship Wrestling from Hollywood. And we have great relationships with both of them. Same thing with Gallo and Anderson. We have fantastic relationships.
Everybody, David. You know everybody. You do.
I guess I do. So it's if it all works out and the economics work, we'll try to get those guys the best we can on the programs. When it comes to the world title, we have been trying for years to make a world champion. And the reason why we've not done it, why it's not happened, is everyone who's agreed to be the champion, the moment they say yes, within 3 to 6 days, they've all received a contract.
I don't doubt it. Hey,
that's the
just
truth.
Look at the talent. Just look at the talent. Not only just in the ring, but behind the broadcast desk.
Yep.
The guys and gals who have gotten signed from Championship Wrestling just in the last 12 months. I mean,
yeah.
AEW, NWA, WWE, NXT, they're just all over the place.
That's right.
You guys are a breeding ground for the very best talent.
Well, thank you. We try it to do that. But everyone over the years, from Shinsuke Nakamura to Finn Balor to Carl Anderson to you name it, we've gone to them and they said yes, and then they were gone. And the funny part is, I think about November of last year, I started hinting around, okay, we're going to make a champion this year. And we're going to revolve the whole show, starting after the Red Carpet Rumble, about making a world champion, blah, blah, blah. And as I start doing the preliminary work, we have a pandemic and we're shut down. So
right.
So we were shut down yet again.
Oh boy. Well, I'll tell you one thing, David. If you're looking for competitors in your United World Championship hunt, I know a guy in Memphis who's chomping at the bit right now to get out of the house and do something.
Gary Jackson.
Oh man! And speaking of Memphis, we do still have a birthday bash that we have to celebrate, and I think now we should probably coin it the belated birthday bash. So, you mentioned earlier everybody was still excited and on board, and same thing here. We haven't had any of the fans ask for a refund on tickets. Even the sponsors have stayed on board with us because they know that this is going to be a big thing. It's just they also know that we still have more questions than we have answers. So, what are your thoughts, real quick, coming to Memphis soon?
Well, I'm looking forward to that, to no other. And so the listeners in the area and the viewers understand that show. We are working tirelessly in presenting the very best first outing there. It's very important to all of us that when you show up to the ball field, that you say, yep, this is ours. And accept everyone and everything involved in the event. And I, for one, well, you know this because you and I have had many, many conversations. I don't think the viewers know, yes, the show's been on a year, but it took us a couple of years to get the show on the air.
Yeah, it really did.
So, we've been working on this for a while. And in my hearts of hearts, and I don't mind saying this, I can't wait for the time when it comes that we have a local broadcast that is featuring the majority of that area's talent. That's what we like to do. So that's what I like to do as United Wrestling Network and David Marquez. So
sure.
That's and I'm not talking out of school either. You know this. So
no. That's the absolute. The whole plan from day one was to be Championship Wrestling from Memphis eventually, and our birthday bash was going to be the very first glimpse of that.
Yeah.
To where we would have original programming, a big 3-week special, just like Red Carpet Rumble, just like Milestone, PP3 Finals. So that is definitely coming. But David, I don't want to take up a whole lot of your time. We'll have you back on. Hopefully next time we'll get some questions from some of the listeners, and then you can answer questions kind of like on your Facebook Live, which I love, by the way.
Well, right now it's more out of boredom sitting here because our days we're still in production, but it's limited. There's not much we can do. We're pulling from an archive and just kind of slapping a new front on it. So there's a lot of free time right now.
Well, before I let you go, one last thing anything you want to tell to the listeners and the viewers of the United Wrestling Network, and that's everybody as a whole. Sure. Arizona, Memphis, San Francisco. Where else are you? Yeah. Vegas, Hollywood, you name it.
We're everywhere, man. We're in England, we're in Canada, we're in Mexico, we're in the Caribbean.
We have people from the United Kingdom that log on to YouTube every Saturday to chat with us.
That's
Germany.
Beautiful.
It's crazy. It's all over the world, not just in the regions that we are.
No, for sure. That's one reason why I selected starting last week with running the Chinese special again, because with everything going on, it's just important to show that the globe isn't as big as we think it is. So things are way more communal than most folks consider. But what I'd like to say to everybody is just thank you. I've been fortunate enough to work in wrestling for 3 decades, and I've helped an awful lot of people, and they've helped me, the stars included. We've enjoyed being able to produce fine television for many years and create great relationships, not just with the talent, but with the fans in every area. And this goes back with me being with New Japan or Harley Race or being an NWA owner for many years, or the early days of TNA, the WWF stuff that I've done, the WCW stuff that I've done. Just thank you. Now with being back on the show as a talent, which I shied away from for many years because I didn't feel like I was good at it anymore.
I love it.
Well, you can thank David Lagana for that, for making me go back out there for the NWA. I was supposed to just stay in the back and be a production guy. But gotcha. David and Billy Corrigan they're the ones who pushed me out in front of the camera again. But getting back into that role, being on camera, has really opened my eyes a lot to what today's wrestling is and today's wrestling fan and what they are expecting. So, and it is really night and day from when I got involved and probably when you got involved. It's really different. So I'm learning a lot. I'm evolving. I'm changing a lot of the protocol and what we do, stuff that we used to do that we thought was cool and we can do it and we can't do it anymore. And for the right reasons, to be very honest. There's a lot of stuff we would do in the old days. That,
man, are you kidding me?
I look at it now like, huh?
Bobby the Brain Heenan would not have a very good time right about now.
No, he wouldn't have a job today. But yeah, we're looking. I'm looking forward to the future. It's all about progress and how to get there. And this is a marathon. This is a long-term thing. This is there is no expressway to the top.
That's right. And the Memphis team will be on board with you every step of the way. David, thank you so much for joining me here on the Championship Wrestling Podcast presented by BFree CBD. Thanks, man.
Thank you.
The Championship Wrestling Rewind is brought to you by BFree CBD.
How much fun was that? I could actually talk professional wrestling with David Marquez all day long, and he knows it. Also, it was cool to hear him talk about being back in front of the camera on NWA Power, because I really do enjoy his interview style, his facial expression, some of the things that he says to the wrestlers just reminds me of Mean Gene Okerlund, and that's like a lost art with most interviewers that you see on television. But anyway, we took a look into the future, possibly, of what we could see at Championship Wrestling. But right now, let's rewind back just a little bit into the past, which was this past Saturday on Championship Wrestling presented by Pro Shingle. Myself and my Maria were in a little bit of a different setting in the studio, a little bit of a different format. We went back and looked at some of the feature tag team matches over the last 12 months, starting with our first ever and only ever mixed tag team match. It was the Upper Class versus the Soul Burners. Check this out, man. Royce Isaacs was the current United TV champion. He teamed up with Heather Monroe, and also they had Houston Body and Jamie Iovine, an entire entourage at ringside, to go up against one half of the United World Tag Team Champions at the time, Russ Taylor and Sandra Moon. It was unbelievable. One of the most popular matches that we've ever had on Championship Wrestling, and I hope you guys enjoyed it as much as we did. Very, very, very cool match. That was tremendous. And then the next match was a bloody steel cage match. Reno Scum, Adam Thornstowe, and Luster the Legend step inside a solid steel cage against Johnny Yuma and Kevin Martinson, the Rock Ness Monsters, and boy, did it get bloody. I was actually there live for this one at the Red Carpet Rumble, and I remember them stealing the show. And, give you a little insight, they actually filmed that match first. So on Red Carpet Rumble Part 1, they had the cage up, filmed the match first, took the cage down, filmed the rest of the shows, and then in editing and post-production, put that cage match as the main event. So just imagine all the guys that had to follow that match. And then in the main event on Saturday, Adrian Quest had something to get off his chest. And boy, did he ever. He not only got something off his chest, but he betrayed his friends, and he joined the group now known as Static. So it was Adrian Quest and his mystery partner Andy Brown against the Soul Burners for the United World Tag Team Championship, and you know the outcome of that match because Static are now the tag team champions. Then after that, I had a lot of fun conducting a live reaction on our official YouTube page. I always have a great time chatting during the premiere, and I'll try to go live immediately following the episode so that way we can get your feedback, answer your questions, and see what you thought of the brand new format.
The Championship Wrestling Lookout is brought to you by BFree CBD.
All right, there's a whole lot to look out for this week. I'm always excited when we have a busy week. On Thursday, it's an all-new Grind City Wrestling. And last week, we had a lot to talk about. Over 30 WWE employees were released, and we lost the Fink. Howard Finkel, the voice of my childhood, the best ring announcer in the history of professional wrestling. He just had that voice that when you heard it, you knew something big was going to happen. And I'm not just saying that. The Fink is what every ring announcer wants to be. And also, to take the cake, not only was he the very first WWE employee, but he actually came up with the name WrestleMania. Had Howard Finkel not come up with the name WrestleMania, we might be calling it the Colossal Tussle. According to Wisetail and rumor, Vince McMahon was going to call it the Colossal Tussle until Howard Finkel came up with the term WrestleMania. So Thursday, we had a lot to talk about. This Thursday, we're going to have a whole lot to talk about because so much more has happened. So go check us out every Thursday, grindcitymedia.com/podcast. Also on Thursday, I'm scheduled to join Brian Alvarez on Wrestling Observer Live. And these guys are doing a good job of reaching out to independent wrestling companies, professional wrestlers that may have lost a ton of bookings. Lord knows there's a ton of us out there. But we're going to talk shop, Championship Wrestling, presented by Pro Shingle. Probably talk a little bit of everything wrestling, but I'm really looking forward to joining Brian Alvarez on Thursday. I'll be sure to hit the link at Dustin Starr. And then, of course, next Saturday, my Maria and I, we're going to take a look back at our very first episode of Championship Wrestling presented by Pro Shingle. Lots and lots of great fun stuff. Plus, a special segment featuring WWE Hall of Famer Rikishi, another WWE Hall of Famer, the King, Jerry Lawler, Dave Brown, the Steiner brothers, both Rick and Scott, and of course Buff Bagwell. They will all be on the program Saturday, along with a look back at our very first episode. And I already know my Maria is going to want to take a look back at what I did to the cake. And anybody that knows me knows by now I really wanted to eat that cake.
It's time for this week's Mailbag. Mailbag.
A lot of good stuff in this week's Mailbag. You know, it's my favorite segment of every single podcast. I don't know, I'm really enjoying these interviews too. But if you need to send me a question, I usually do this on my story on Instagram at Dustin Starr, but you can send it anywhere you want, and I'll be sure to answer it and include it in the mailbag on the Championship Wrestling podcast presented by BFree CBD. First question: favorite wrestler to play as in the new WWE games? That's kind of a tough one because I don't play the WWE games that much, but when I do, why not pick Roman Reigns or Brock Lesnar? Also, I've seen quite a few creative characters that are really, really good portrayals of Dustin 5 Starr, so I could definitely play as myself. Also, it kind of depends on who I'm playing against. And for you gamers out there, you know I talk a little bit of gaming. You can follow me on Twitch at Dustin Starr. I'm going to be doing some live streaming very soon. I've been working hard on my Fortnite game. I had a first place solo finish just a couple of days ago with, guess how many kills? 5 kills, of course. Next question. This is a tough one. Do you expect more cuts? And this question's alluding to the fact of more wrestler cuts from WWE, and my answer is absolutely. Absolutely, there will be more cuts, especially if our economy stays shut down and we're not able to do live events. And unfortunately, I see many of those cuts coming from other companies as well. How long would an AEW or an NWA or an Impact Wrestling, New Japan, you name it, like how are these companies going to continue to be profitable and successful? And that's the tough thing about all those talented people that were released by WWE just last week. They don't have very many places to go, if any place at all, just due to the circumstances that we're under. Everybody was saying AEW will sign them. Well, how? So it'll be interesting to see what happens moving forward, but we'll keep a close eye on it. That's a good question. I hate to see anybody lose their job. Next question: 5 things that you can't wait to do once quarantine is over. Oh, I love this one. Number 1 through 5. Work. I can't wait to work. So we'll put number 1 as work. Number 2, go to FedEx Forum to work. Number 3, go to AutoZone Park to work. Number 4, go to Kooky Canuck to drink some big, tall, ginormous draft beer. Oh, I love it. Can't wait to do that. Number 5, I can't wait to wrestle Ray Rosas. And you know that's going to happen at our belated birthday bash. But you know what? I might not be able to wait till then. Maybe I'll just make a trip to Hollywood. That's the 5 things that I can't wait to do once quarantine is over. Work, FedEx Forum, AutoZone Park, Kooky Canuck, and let's say not wrestle Ray Rosas, but fight Ray Rosas. Next question, got any special projects planned? Well, there's some special projects that I can't necessarily tell you about just yet, but there is one that I can because it's almost completed. It's a new partnership with Grind City Designs that are going to feature our brand new Championship Wrestling shop. So I know we're on ProWrestlingTees.com/ThePowerCouple. This store will be specific to not just Dustin and Maria Starr, but to Championship Wrestling as a whole. So there's going to be some really, really fun classic stuff coming there. Keep an eye out and go check out Grind City Designs. Next question. This is a serious question, guys. Top 3 pizza toppings. Now, I'm gonna start with barbecue because I gotta have some barbecue pizza. I love it on thin crust. Pepperoni, you gotta stick with the basics. It's kind of like push-ups. Pepperoni. Who doesn't like pepperoni? And number 3, this is why it's a serious question. Number 3, one of my favorite things to put on pizza is pineapple. And don't even at me. Don't even come at me with any kind of flack. I love pineapple on my pizza. So top 3 pizza toppings: barbecue, pepperoni, and pineapple. Oh yeah. Now seriously, this is a really tough question to close out the mailbag. It actually hit me pretty hard, to be honest. And shout out to Joe Sills for sending me this question. Usually I keep them anonymous, but this was a great one. Who did it better? Scorpion Deathlock from Sting or the Sharpshooter from Bret the Hitman Hart? Wow. I had to put a poll up for this one. That's how hard it was. Both finishing maneuvers dominated their respective leagues for many years. But if I was going to have to pick one over the other, I think I'd have to go, and it's hurt me to say it, but Bret the Hitman Hart Sharpshooter. And the one only good reason I can give you is that the Hitman tapped people out for years in WWE, and then he went to WCW and tapped people out. Stinger, he stayed in WCW, although he was the best thing that they had for all those years. But that's a tough one. Hit me up. Let me know at Dustin Starr or at CW30 Wrestling. What do you think? Who did it better, Scorpion Deathlock or the Sharpshooter?
Thanks for listening to the Championship Wrestling Podcast presented by BFreeCBD.com.
Thanks for joining us. Also, big thanks to David Marquez for joining us. Be sure to follow him at CWFH Marquez. Be sure to check out BFreeCBD.com. They're offering 20% off every single day. And if you already take CBD, or if you've been thinking about trying it, certainly try BFreeCBD.com. That's the letter B, FreeCBD.com. Also, if you like them on Facebook, you'll have a chance to win free CBD. We're going to catch you again right here next week. I'm going to have a new guest that will join me. Be on lookout for the announcement this week on who that might be. But until then, I am Dustin Starr, saying so long, everybody.